All right, so now we're in the round pen and we're gonna do some groundwork, and we're gonna first work on the backing lesson, but I'm just gonna come check her girth here. So we're just gonna move her over here. And we're just gonna get her girth tightened. I don't want her grazing, I want her paying attention. So click while it's being tightened. And then you can either do it with the stirrups up or down, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of your opinion here. I do it since we're doing this lesson, I'm just gonna keep them up. If you were lunging or something, I would probably put them down just so they remember like how it feels like have a leg on their side or have a stirrup bounce around, stuff like that. So nothing crazy. So this works out perfectly because we're gonna work on the backing lessons. So first I'm just gonna have her back off of shaking the rope pressure. So I'm gonna start, you can start in front of them or you can start to the side, and I'm just gonna start waving this. I'm gonna start with my wrist. So 1, 2, 3, nothing happens. Forearm, 1, 2, 3, nothing happens. Whole arm, there. So I would do whole arm, 1, 2, 3, then I'm gonna do this, 1, 2, and then I keep going. And then if she's still not responding to the snap, me bumping on the snap, I'll just take the end of my rope and I'll just kind of swing it toward her chest while I do this. So, and then as soon as she steps back, I will release. And then I'll try again. I usually don't click after she's like struggling with it, like doesn't want to back up and then does it, because I want her to like, you know, I want her to get the lesson, but I also don't want her to think I struggle with it and then I gotta click. So it's kind of like a fine line there. But I want her to just kind of, whenever she moves off it really, really light, I will definitely click that. I want to click the lightness more so than anything else. So same thing, 1, 2, 3, there. So that's pretty good. So she's going on her own, so I'll just leave her. So 1, 2, 3. That was more of a, I think there's a bug on my leg type situation. But I'm going to turn her to the side here so you can see. Okay. You can also add in a voice cue. So I would say back. 1, 2, 3. That was decent. Back. Stand up straight. 1, 2. Good. So I thought she was going to put a little bit more effort in it, but we'll just try again. So I like to just be like in a relaxed body position, and then I'll change to more assertive, and then I'll say the word, and then I'll add the pressure. So back. Good. So she kind of just went off the word almost, because I want that word to translate understandable, just like the round pen, the words to go forward do. Back. 1. Good. That was really nice. We'll see if she can do it once more, and then if she's cool with that, we'll just end there. She gets a little bored with this lesson. Back. No. 1, 2, 3. That's not the movement. There. Okay, so we'll ask again. Back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So I'm going up there because she knows what she's doing. She's just like, she's pawing. She's like, I don't really want to do this. That's too bad. She'd rather graze. Like, that's too bad. Back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There, I release. And I just drop it there for the release. So I don't mind if she comes up, but I am paying attention to it. Back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. She's just being lazy. She knows this, and she just is kind of bored and rather graze. So I'm going to kind of increase the pressure quicker. So back. 1, 2. No, back. So I'm just going to go up. Okay, so she knows this lesson. So I'm just going to kind of skip from like 1 to 3. And we're just going to say, here, I gave you a chance. We're going right up here. So I don't do this in the beginning, but she knows this lesson, and she's just like, I want to graze, I want to walk around, I want to not do this. Back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. She's just being lazy and doesn't want to do anything. because she knows the lesson. She's just like, eh. Like either she's just sticking her head up, like, nope. Okay, back. 1, 2, there. I wanted 2 steps is what I wanted. So there, I'll finish on that. So I'm trying to start with the lightest pressure, but she was just like, she knows the lesson. Like, I'm not going to go through every single step, even though she knows it. So I'm going to skip through the intensity like that. Since she knows it, don't do this with a horse that doesn't know it, because they're just going to get scared. Like, she's obviously not scared. So you can check that by doing this. So if you're like so she's a little worried, but she's not running around scared, terrified of me. So, and I've taught her how to deal with the pressure, and that's where the positive reinforcement comes in. But see, now she relaxed. That's perfect. So that's how you can kind of balance them out. I like to desensitize them to that once I've backed them up or done something like that. Okay, so then the next one here, we're just going to back from steady pressure. So I'm just going to grasp my hand here, slightly back toward her chest, very light. So I'll release on like a half a step or a lean of the weight. That was perfect. Back. There, good. I could have clicked on that one. Back. Like a little bit better ears. So I'm gonna keep asking. Back. Good. Okay. Bring her up here a little bit. But I like her. I'm working more on her attitude than anything else. Because she'll kind of be like, she'll just like immediately think that I'm going to just grab her face and pull her around. So she just goes into defense mode. Back. Very, very light. Okay. So I increased the pressure, and then I kind of started moving my rope here. So back. Good. I want her to take a step, so like the back is like a trot in reverse. I'd like her to take one of those steps. So both diagonal pairs take a step back. Back. So I'm standing up. Pull back. Add more pressure. There. Good. Try again. Back. Good. So she was a lot lighter there, so I'm going to go ahead and reward that. So in the beginning, there's some videos with her in the beginning. They're just not super high quality, so that's why I wanted to kind of film these after her break, because they are better quality. Where she's learning this in the beginning, if your horse is learning this in the beginning, go ahead and do that. Don't increase super fast, but she's going to increase faster, and you can do that with a horse that's done this in the past and they just need a little refresher. So back, sit up straight, grab this. I'd like to ask for 2 steps here. Good. Okay. So she's kind of got the idea, and then this is good for her just coming back into work. I'm not going to make her back up forever. I just need it useful enough that I can back her in the cross ties, and I can back her out of the trailer and in little situations, and then it'll start getting the cue ready for the under saddle work. That's all it is. Okay, so she's moving around a bit. I'm going to check her girth. So she wants to be kind of girthy, swish her tail, pin her ears a bit. I'm just going to, there. So her ears came up, her tail stopped swishing, and I'll just stop. I'm not going to cluck because she had the bad behavior first. Back. So she's just kind of coming into my space. So I'm just going to be like, nope, I don't think so. So when teaching the backing lesson, you want to start with the lightest amount of pressure and work your way up. However, if your horse is coming into your space, like she just did, like I'm just standing here and doing whatever, and they just come on waltzing on in, do whatever you got to do. So same thing with grass eating. I let her get her lips on it, and then I put pressure on it. So she has no pressure everywhere else but down here. With me, she hadn't grazed the rest of the day. But see, allow her to until her lips touch the grass. So anyways, if she comes walking into your space, clear your space. You don't need to whack on them, just clear the space out of the way. But they cannot just come in here and be all up in your space, because it's dangerous. Okay, so we're going to do the next backing lesson. So I'm going to move her up here. Come on over. Okay, so we're just going to have her back up from in front of her. So again, stand up, back, and then just put pressure here. Good. So she's pretty cool with that. She's pretty good with the lesson. And you can be a bit delayed with your retreat. ideally you want to do it pretty fast so they understand what they're being rewarded for, but don't worry, like don't hurry and like fumble through if you're not super fast. Okay, and then I just pause a minute before moving on. Back. Good. So she's a lot better with this whip actually. And I think that's just from having experiences with being pulled on her face where she just has that resistance. But I mean, you can still get over it, but it's easier to not have any resistance to start with. Okay, next I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of move off to the side, and then the whip cues off to the side. So this is going to help. So when you start riding bridleless, or even if you just want help in the backup, so she's anticipating, so I'm just going to desensitize her. But if you're wanting help in the backup, instead of just pulling on their mouth, I would get up in the saddle and have dressage whips. So my hand's the other whip, and it'll just be on their chest. So like this would be like that. And then you'd have another whip on the other side. So that just kind of helps to like teach them what you want. So you'd say the cue, you'd apply pressure on the reins, increase the pressure, and then bring in the whips, and then tap with the whips and release. So it's just another way to teach them, and then you can obviously use this on the ground too. So same thing, stand up, be assertive, say back, and then just bring this up. Good. And she's pretty chill with the whip, so her whip stuff is really like right where you want it to be, unless you're doing some kind of like show or liberty demonstration where it needs to be really fast. But just that light thing right there, that's totally cool. And then again, if they anticipate like she wanted to back up on her own, desensitize with your whip or your rope or whatever until they don't want to back up anymore or stop backing up, then you stop. So that's pretty much it for that. Again, you want to do this, I'm on her right side, you'd want to do that on her left side as well. But that's pretty much the backing lesson. She needs a little bit more softness on the halter lessons, but I'm not super worried about it. It's functional. We can move on to the riding.